Welcome to My That Soul Podcast. Let's get into it. Today, we got an interesting one. We're going to talk about unusual phobias. Let's get into it. My ex, 5-year relationship, was deathly afraid of touching or drinking milk. She once had a small bit of milk splash on her while putting some dishes into the dishwasher, and she literally fainted on the spot, landing on top of an open dishwasher door. Lucky for her, there was no eating utensils in the utensil rack in the front, or she might have been stabbed or maybe badly gouged by a spoon. The weirdest thing about it was that she could get other dairy products such as yogurt and ice cream on her and it would not affect her, even though those products are mostly cured milk. Yeah. What the heck? She also had no problem eating food that had milk as an ingredient, such as instant mashed potatoes, which called for milk. My biggest question for her was always, how are you going to handle getting pregnant and lactating? Are you going to be carrying around 2 warm bags of milk with you all the time? And will most likely get a lot on you all of the time. She did plan on having 2 kids. Being afraid of milk. Like, there's lactose intolerant people, and that's understandable because, they can't drink milk or else, they'd be shitting on the toilet for 12 hours. But fainting because milk touches you? I've never heard that. I've never seen that. Like milk touches you and your blood pressure just dies. Like, that makes no sense. How do you pass out over milk touching you? And then it's weird because you can have ice cream and yogurt. Like, huh? Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't get that. That's like a lactose intolerant person being like, yeah, dog, look, I can drink milk, but I can't eat cheese. And it's like, wait, what? Huh? How does that make sense? My thing is the passing out thing. I mean, it takes a lot for a person to pass out. It takes a lot to really affect your blood pressure because, in order for you to pass out, you have low blood pressure and then there's no oxygen to your brain and then you pass out. But how does milk touching you? Now, okay, sometimes I can understand, like, when you're doing the dishes, it is kind of nasty when, like, food touches you and stuff like that, or, I don't know, something in there just kind of touches you and it's just kind of nasty. And, you're kind of like, ugh, I understand that. But I don't pass out from it. I don't do the dishes and, like, a piece of food, wet food touches me and then I'm like, oh. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's the only thing that's weird about me. I get what he means by the whole, like, how you're going to have kids and stuff like that. That may be different. I mean, she may look at it differently, but it's the passing out for me. It's like, that's so weird. It's like, what the heck? Like, how in the hell does that even work? All right. Okay, let's get to our next one. Since an infant, my cousin is terrified of fruit. What the fuck? Oh, even before he was able to speak, he somehow could look at something and realize it was a fruit, and he'd be absolutely terrified. Something just looks like an orange, and that motherfucker is gone. He's just like, nope, that's a fruit. Fuck that. No thanks. Oh, man, how in the hell? He's 12 now, and the phobia persists. Banana, apple, kiwi, any shape, any size, he's afraid of fruit. Bro, how do you develop a phobia of that? Like me, I'm scared of heights, but that makes sense because being scared of heights, there's an impending death, with that. Like, I'm afraid to fall from a high height because I could die, but I'm not going to die touching a fruit. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's just like, what is going on here? How are you afraid of fruit? In what world does that constitute fear? I don't like, I understand spiders, I understand lizards and snakes and, water, for instance. Like, I can understand that because, some people are afraid of water and you can drown, especially if they don't know how to swim. Makes sense. But fruit, dog, what? I mean, as people, I feel like, we've dominated over the race of fruit. I mean, we cut it up, we eat it, we sell it in grocery stores. Like, bro, don't worry. The fruit ain't gonna hurt you. The fruit can't kill you. I wonder what triggers the fear. Is it like the shape? Is it the feeling of it? Is it, I don't know. Like, did he watch somebody die, like choke on a piece of fruit, and then he was just like, oh, fuck no, fruit is dangerous? Like, there's so much I wish I knew about this. Like, I hate that it was such a short post. It's like, how? How did this happen? Did he watch a TV show? I mean, maybe a TV show, maybe a YouTube video or something. I would love to go on YouTube and type in fruit phobia. I would love to. Man, I might do that after this video, because fruit phobia. Imagine being afraid of fruit. Somebody hands you an orange and you're just like, oh! It does remind me of an old video of a girl who went on Maury. I think she was afraid of pickles, and they brought out a jar of pickles and she was like, ah! And that does remind me of that. So maybe this kid's the same way. Maybe this is I wouldn't say normal, but this is something that people can have an irrational fear over, which is wild. Fruit? Damn. All right. I'm not going to dwell on that one too long, but that's just kind of baffling. That's like the girl passed out touching milk. Like, the fuck? All right. I work with someone who is deathly scared of going over bridges. This is rather unfortunate since we live in a part of the country where it is very convenient to travel to/from from without going over a big fuck off bridge in the north of even bigger fuck off bridge in the south. She has to do a massive detour to the west to go pretty much anywhere. That's kind of, I mean, okay, that one's like I said, that's understandable. A lot of people have fear of bridges because that correlates to their fear of heights. Like, you're so high up. A lot of times, if you live in a windy city like San Francisco, if any of you have ever driven on the Golden Gate Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge at some hours in the day does sway. It is not a very solid, stagnant road. It does sway every once in a while, and there is an irrational fear over that. I believe in Chicago, is it? It might be a little more south, probably. I know there's a bridge where it's actually a suspension bridge. It might even be in New York or something. I'm not 100% sure. I know there's a bridge on the East Coast that a lot of people are really afraid of. And it is because when it does get violently windy down there, it does sway very violently to where, you have to drive like 20, 30 miles an hour. If somebody can Google that and comment it. But yeah, there is a bridge out there that does sway like that. And, people drive 20, 30 miles an hour because they're like, oh my God, today I'm going to die. I'm just trying to go to work. Maybe it'd be great if I died now because then I won't have to go to work. But, but you know what I mean? That makes sense though, because it's just like, okay. Somebody commented in Louisiana, the Pontchartrain Causeway is 300 feet in crossing. It's the longest bridge in the world. That's the bridge I was talking about. It's Louisiana. I knew it was a little more south. I thought it was like Chicago or something like that, but no, it's a little more south. But yeah, there is a big rational fear around that up. And so, dang, man. Alrighty. Let's see here. All right. Oh, no. Ay. Da. Okay, there we go. All right, I once knew a guy who would ardently avoid wearing clothes whenever he could because he was convinced that they might suddenly tighten and swallow his body. What in the absolute mind-melding fuckery did this man go through? I mean, how are you convinced of something like that? I would love to know. Like, how are you convinced of that? Like, did he put on a too tight of a t-shirt one day and just be like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I can't get out of this fucking t-shirt, and like had to be cut out of it or something? Because she said he was convinced. He was convinced that if he wears clothes for too long, they'll tighten up and kill him. Like, bro, what? That is probably one of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard. Coming from anybody, really. Like, dude, what in the hell? I would just love to know how he was convinced. You know, because she literally said, like he was, yes, he was convinced that they might suddenly tighten and swallow his body. Like, bro, where? Swallow you where? Like, what? Man, okay. All right, looks like somebody who had a fear of mayonnaise. You know, you know, when I looked at it, it wasn't that funny. And then I said it, and I was just like, yeah, that's kind of funny. They must have the worst Cinco de Mayo ever. Because everybody likes to do the sink in the mayo thing. Oh, I bet they have the worst Cinco de Mayo ever. It's PTSD day for them. Like, they see all those memes on the internet and they're just like, like, Jesus Christ, dude. Wow. Okay. I'm afraid of cotton balls. It really only affects me when opening bottles of medication or during arts and crafts. Arts and crafts? What? But in high school, people found out about it and used to leave cotton balls on my desk. And by people, I mean one kid named Joe. Fuck Joe. Oh my God. Yeah, these are very unusual, all right. I didn't think we were going to get these. I thought it was going to be unusual as like, you know, oh, I'm afraid of choking, or like, you know, like choking on food. I'm afraid of falling down the stairs. You know, like that's what I thought would be unusual. Not being afraid of touching milk and fruit. And the bridge one, I can understand the bridge one because I'm afraid of heights. So I understand the bridge one. I feel you on that one. All right, the bridge one, we're gonna give that one a pass. But cotton balls, what? Oh, we got another one. My auntie has a phobia of bananas. If she sees/smells one, she has a panic attack. Fuck are you panicking for? It's a banana. Oh my God. For her 40th birthday last year, my uncle made her a card with a pop-up banana in it. Ah, you're wrong for that one. She opened it, fainted, and smashed her head on the floor when she fell. It was the funniest thing I ever witnessed. That's fucked up. She took that card and was just like, oh, this is so sweet. Oh, like, how? It's a paper banana. I understand maybe if it was a real banana, I guess, but it's a paper banana. It can't hurt you. You close the card and it's over. Oh my God. I just, okay, we're moving on. In elementary school, there was this one kid that threw up if you told him the pudding he was eating was cheese. Follow-up story. Me and my friend at the time decided to have him over for a sleepover and throw cups of pudding at him while screaming, "It's cheese. The pudding is cheese." It didn't work though. We just had to clean up the pudding that got on the floor. You guys are fucking stupid. I don't think Okay, this one is. I don't think he had a phobia. If I'm being honest with you, I think it was one of those things where he was eating and something may have fucked up his stomach and then he just threw up. I highly doubt he was afraid of somebody saying that the pudding is cheese. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. That's like you eating I don't know. Let's say like chicken and rice, something just super basic, and then somebody says, "Oh, you're eating the chicken's ass." And they're like, "What? I'm eating the chicken's ass." Like, I just don't think. No, I don't know. I know a girl who is afraid of collections of small holes. So pumic stones, sponges, and Aero chocolates are no-goes for her. Not sure how often in a day-to-day life it would affect you though. What? So, like, she's afraid of SpongeBob? Is that like SpongeBob would be PTSD for her? She's afraid of a bunch of holes like grouped together. So think of a sponge and how it has like a bunch of holes or whatever. I mean, modern day sponges don't have that many holes in them, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know what chocolate he's talking about. I've never seen chocolate with holes in it. That's fucking weird. I mean, you guys may know some chocolate with some holes in it. That may be an East Coast thing. Like, I live on the West Coast, so maybe that's an East Coast thing. Maybe that's a European thing. I have no fucking clue. I don't know any chocolates with holes in them. That's kind of weird. A dude buys her some chocolate and she's just like, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? It has holes on it. Like, what? Like, what? It's got holes. Huh? The fuck? I'm terrified of people touching the inside of my wrist and kneecaps. I'm afraid of my veins will explode or my kneecap will discombobulate. Yeah, it's stupid, but still. What? Someone said I have the wrist phobia too. The inside of my ankles. I hate needles and veins as well. Okay, I don't like needles as well. I can't stand when you got to do IVs or when they have to take your blood and shit like that. I can understand that. Okay, if it's like that, then I can 100% understand. Yeah, when people start taking about wrists or blood, I have to excuse myself or I feel terrible. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think I may have this phobia too, if you will, because when they have to take blood and shit like that, most uncomfortable fucking thing in the entire world. I hate it. I can't stand it. That's just like, and you look at it, you're like, you have tattoos though, da 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 da. And it's different. It's different. The tattoo needles go maybe an inch or two into your skin. These needles go into you, like they're like deep in there. Like you can feel something moving within your arm, And I remember the first time I ever had an IV. That was the most uncomfortable thing ever, to feel water moving through your veins. Oh, I shuddered. Oh my God, I shuddered. It was horrible. I was like, it was, I couldn't do it. I was like, get this IV out of me now. This is just the worst. And the nurse is just like, I'm sorry, man. We got to wait until it finishes. And I'm just like, can it drip faster or something? Because that was, wow. And it was cold too. Yeah, that shit was cold as fuck. Ugh. All right, while common, I find it painstakingly irrational. I have a fear of heights. Okay, every time it starts with a hand sweat, then my legs slowly become heavy and I eventually lock up. The whole time I'm feeling myself, or I'm telling myself, hey, nigga, gravity is holding you here. That's when I, after years of not knowing, realize my fear is actually of jumping from whatever height I'm at. Like, I will somehow propel my body uncontrollably off the ledge. I hate it. Make it stop. Okay, look, this may be weird. I don't know if somebody shares this with me, but anytime I'm up somewhere high, I get these impulsive thoughts to just jump. Like, what if I jumped? Like, would I survive? I know that's weird, but it's this impulsive thought. And I'm just walking, carrying on, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I'm pretty high up. What if I jump? And I'm just like would I survive? Would I survive from this height? Would I break my leg? I don't. It's weird. It's the weirdest shit ever. Like, I'm afraid of heights, 100%. 100%. Like, I look down and I'm just like, whoa. It does that whole thing where it's like, in TV shows and shit. But yeah, I feel him. I get that impulsive thought to just be like, can I make that fucking jump? I don't know why, but it just does. It happens. It happens. It's weird. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why? All right. My ex-housemate is terrified of balloons. Every party or event with balloons is a nightmare. She literally runs out of the room. I guess it's because she expects them to pop every second. Also hates the feeling of the sound of oh my God, a rubbering one. Oh, okay. Funny story. Back when I was probably like 21, 22 or something like that, I did date a girl who was terrified of balloons, and I didn't know that. I didn't know it. I went to the place, I bought a bunch of balloons, I blew them up all myself, and I did the, strings and shit like that because I wanted to do like a certain color pattern, and, I wanted to make the strings different colors than the balloons and all that kind of stuff. I felt like it was super special. I was like, yo, her birthday about to be lit. This is about to be a great thing, so I went ahead and got her balloons and stuff like that. I knocked on her door, blah, 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 and literally the first thing she does is just stare at the balloon. She's just like, and I'm like, yo, you all right? What's going on? And she was just like, yeah, I'm fine. Come in, da, da, da. And so I was like, I got you some balloons, and I tried to give them to her, and she was like, she was not having it. And I was thrown aback. I'm like, are you okay? What's wrong? She's like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's fine. And I'm like, what's going on? Are you scared of something? Is there a bee in here? Like, and then she finally spilled the beans to me. Like, I'm afraid of balloons. Like, I'm afraid of them popping. She's not like afraid of balloons themselves, but she's scared of the thought like of them popping. She doesn't like the sound. And I was like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, because it's weird, and a lot of people don't really understand because they don't have the phobia, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, to a degree, I can understand, like, a loud popping, like say, you're on your computer and you're watching a show or you're doing work or whatever, and the balloons that you got for your birthday just pop, and you're like, the fuck? Like, it's understandable. It makes sense. And I just didn't think about it that time. I was just like, it's your birthday, and birthday usually equals balloons, and I got her a gift and a cake and other stuff, but we're focusing on the balloons. But it's just like, what? It was just weird, and I was just like, whoa, and, needless to say, that relationship didn't last. Bitch don't like balloons. What's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was just like, that's actually a real freaking thing, and I've actually gotten to know somebody who, was terrified of fucking balloons. That's kind of wild. Let's see. A girl I used to hook up with was deathly afraid of midgets. I didn't find this out until we were at a bar, and she came up to me crying and shaking, pointing at a little person who had just walked in and said, "We have to go now." I started cracking up. This didn't go over very well. Yo. Now, okay, I've never seen a midget in my entire life. I've never seen one. Or let's say little person, sorry. You're so insensitive. They're not midgets. They're fucking midgets. Shut up. All right. But I've never seen a small person in real life. I've seen them on TV. I've seen them on, Instagram and TikTok, whatever. But I've never seen an actual, like, dwarfism person, Like, and for me, I always thought to myself, like, would I be uncomfortable seeing a person with dwarfism? Like, would I be actually uncomfortable with it? Like, would I actually be scared of the person? Would I be, like, okay with it? Would I be fine? Would I have a lot of questions? Like, how do you drive You know what I mean? Like, do you drive with one hand and you got like a stick and you just kind of use the stick to push the pedals, or do you have like a modified car where it has like super long pedals and stuff? I mean, maybe I would have like those kind of questions, maybe just like day-to-day lifestyle stuff. But I just don't know how I feel, because I'm not a very tall person. I'm a short king, 5'7", and so I'm like, I feel like the man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd probably look super attractive to a lot of girls with him standing next to me, because they'd be like, oh, next to him, he's 6 foot. But, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, I would love to meet one just to see how I would genuinely react, because, I could sit here and say, oh, I would probably react like this, but we all know, like, in the heat of the moment, you'd probably act different than what you think, because that's happened to me a lot of times where I'm like, oh, if I were in this situation, I would act like this. Oh, hold on. But then when I get in that situation, I act completely different. I'm like, oh man, what the fuck? Like, did I really do that? Did I really act like that? Like, holy shit, I thought I was going to act like this, but I didn't, so that's why I kind of put it up to like, well, maybe I would act differently. Maybe I would be, a little different. I don't know. Oh, this was nasty. I'm terrified of taking a bath. Oh, okay. Showering is just fine, but taking a bath scares the shit out of me. I got really sick in the 6th grade and had really bad fever and spent the better part of a week hallucinating. At one point, I was particularly fucked up. My mother put me in the bath and I hallucinated myself being sucked down the drain, and then everything was black. It was pretty much the worst, and I was pretty sure I was dead because there was only nothingness. 10 years later, my girlfriend at the time thought it would be romantic if we took a bath together. We got in and I flipped the fuck out. Oh my God. Yeah, ladies, you're gonna have to comment down below and let me know if your man gets like, you're all in the tub and you're sudsed up, naked, whatnot, and you're like, get in the tub, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get in the tub, and then he gets in and he's just flipping the fuck out. Like, how would you take that? I mean, yes, you'd probably have to have a serious conversation like, yo, what happened? Are you okay? Like, is something good? He's just sitting there like, when I was younger, I was afraid of being sucked down the drain. like, bro, I mean, and I think that phobia or that fear probably comes from, in one of the Final Destination movies, a guy, this happened in a pool, but it's kind of the same concept because it is a drain at the end of the day. So there was a guy, he lost a quarter or something like that, or maybe he was in the pool and he went down to the bottom and he was swimming, right? And he saw a quarter at the bottom. He was like, oh, I'm gonna go grab that quarter or whatever. So he grabs the quarter, and then out of nowhere he gets sucked into a drain. And so the drain is like sucking onto him, and he can't like get out of it. He's like literally, it's like his butt is sucked to the drain, and so he can't get out, and he's just like, what the fuck, and he's drowning and shit like this. And before he can even drown, his guts get sucked out of his butthole, and he dies. And obviously this isn't a movie, so I don't think something like that could really happen. I mean, it'd have to have like a lot of fucking suction for something like that to happen. Maybe it could, maybe it not. I don't know. Mythbusters, get on it. But they probably already done it. I don't know, because that Final Destination movie was old. But that could be maybe a reason why. I don't know for sure, but that totally could be a reason why he may have saw that movie while he was sick and then hallucinated that it happened to him and that it was in a bathtub. Like, that shit could happen, most definitely. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it could. I want to see some of the comments to it. Let's see. Also, afraid of bathtubs. Huge panic attack. I can do hot tubs and pools. I've even got over my fear of giving other people, usually kids, baths, but I cannot make myself take a bath. Last time I tried, I ended up smashing my head on the toilet. Yo, you men out here are wild, man. Somebody get your mans. I used to suffer from emetophobia. In my mid-teens, Anatomophobia is a phobia that causes overwhelming, intense anxiety pertaining to vomit. Okay. All right. I guess. My mid-teens, especially the fear of throwing up in public. Oh, I guess it's the fear of vomiting. Okay. I have that fear, if I'm being honest with you. But we'll keep reading it. Thankfully, this isn't something which affects me much anymore. It was a massive pain in the ass when it lasted. I frequently had to jump off buses early, leave busy rooms, etc., as the fear of vomiting became so overwhelming that I was positive I was about to be sick. But this was a phobia. I wasn't ever actually sick, right? Wrong. I was sat having a haircut one time. These kind of situations were the worst, as it was difficult for me to get away if it all got too much. I couldn't run out of the place with half a haircut, and if I felt I couldn't leave, then the fear just grew exponentially. I'd perhaps have to excuse myself and nip the gents. I think he meant tip. Excuse myself and tip the gents for a few, or I don't know. I guess nip the gents for a few minutes. Collect myself. This is what had happened here. I was just about to asked to jump down from the chair when the hairdresser decided to spray herself with some perfume. I had no idea why she decided to do that, but the smell of it tipped me over the edge, and I threw up all down the sheet, and they wrap around you, leaving a sick/hair combo all over the sheet and floor, and a pretty unpleasant smell in the air. They had to carefully remove the sheet from me. I was spotless, good old sheet, and cleaned up my rancid explosion. While I went up to the bathroom with half a wedge cut into my hair. Give me a break. It was the 1999-ish to have a good swill and spit. What made it worse was that I had to then have my haircut finished off with the hairdresser, same one, so fair play. Obviously, keeping as much distance between the both of us as she could. So there you go. Phobia suffers of Reddit. I mean, okay, like for me, I definitely have a fear of like vomiting. That's kind of I never really looked at it as a fear, but I kind of later in life acknowledged it as a fear, to where I hated it. I hated throwing up. That was just like the worst. And it was one of those things where, like, you know, your parents will always tell you, oh, you know, just throw up, get it out, and then you'll feel better right after. But for me, I just had this overwhelmingly fear. Like I was doing everything I could possible to hold it in, because I hated it, you know. And then I'm the type of person where if I see it, it makes me just want to throw up more, you know. And so a lot of times I have to like close my eyes and like prepare for it, you know. And so I never really had a fear of it like in public. I mean, obviously I'm very mindful of it in public, you know, where I'm just kind of like, if I'm feeling like that, I just won't even go out in public at all. But I guess even for his situation, it's more of a thing where it's like, I'm not sick. It's just whenever I get overwhelming anxiety, it just comes up and it just happens, you know. And that kind of sucks, because it's like you can't control it at that point. You're not necessarily sick. It's just, you know, it's just something that fucking happens. Like that really sucks, dude. Yeah. Come on, thank you. All right. Most people don't know this, but I absolutely hate kissing. I find it disgusting. The mouth is such a dirty place. I also hate the sounds that come from kissing. Irony of the situation is that most of the girls I've kissed have said that I'm awesome at it. Little do they know I'm trying not to gag the whole time. What? And a lot of people are like, I can't stand seeing other people kiss. I totally feel you. I constantly gag and have to pull away on any pretense. Oh, look, the cat is here. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't find that to be weird. Like if I see other people kissing or whatever, it's fine. I don't really give a shit. Like I don't know. My personal, I don't care. I see some other people kissing and I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. I do hear that from a lot of people though. They see somebody else kissing and they're like, ew. It's like, shut up. Cause I bet, with your significant other, you do that too. Like, get the fuck out of here. Stop. Stop acting like you so high and mighty. The fuck. But you know what I mean? I that's what I don't get. I'm just kind of like, huh. I don't know how that's a phobia. You know what I mean? Because like, are you the type of dude that you just kind of, when you kiss, like that's weird. Like nobody does that. Nobody puckers up like that. I guess people who have phobias of kissing apparently kiss like that. And, so if you're out in the streets and, a guy or a girl is like, then oh yeah, you're afraid of kissing, aren't you? Like, I don't know. I think to me, it's such a normal thing that I'm kind of like, I don't know how you could have a phobia of it. I don't even think it's a phobia because they just say they find it disgusting, and I get it. It's the mouth or whatever, but I don't know. I find that's weird. Oh, I've heard about this one. My Korean friend's mother was insane about leaving fans on in the house. I never understood it until I was older and had internet or interns, right? No? Yeah, it's just internets read about the Korean fan death. Shit is hilarious. I personally feel fan death is fucking hilarious, but I never know how to discuss the topic in public. It feels like bashing the religion in public because you single out a single group of people for their idiocy. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I understand what their fear of it is, though, because have you ever had the fan on and you go to sleep and then you wake up and your mouth is just fucking dry? It's drier than a Popeye's biscuit in there. And you're like, yo, I need water right now. I am dying. I can't even vocalize that it's so dry. They believe that like your mouth can get so dry that, you cease to breathe and then you can die over, having the fan on. And it's valid to a point, but I highly doubt there's a statistic out there that says people who have died from fans. I don't see it, I highly doubt there's a statistic to it. So I can understand from that standpoint where it's like, sure, you could talk to a Korean person about it. I'm sure a lot of modern Korean people or even like Americanized Korean people probably look at it like, yeah, it's stupid, but that's just what Koreans believe. The few Korean people I know, they honestly are like, yeah, it's dumb. You can't die from having a fan. Yeah, you're going to, have a sore throat or you're going to have a dry mouth or, you're going to have, I don't know, crusty boogers or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, sure, this shit's going to happen, but you're not going to die over it. You're not going to die over a fucking fan. I get it. A lot of people are like, it's stupid, but I don't want to cross that boundary. But a lot of Korean people who aren't necessarily, they're more Americanized, they're more modern Korean people. I think they kind of look at it like, yeah, it's stupid, and they love to joke about it because it's a funny little thing of their history, or whatever. Let's see. My boyfriend thinks this phobia of mine is weird. I cannot stand having my legs covered or anything underneath. Occasionally while he is sleeping or cuddling or whatever, he throws a leg over mine and I freak out. I feel so confined and stuck and I start panicking and hyperventilating till he moves or I can push his leg off me. I almost never sleep under the covers if they are tucked into the bed, either because I start getting that trapped feeling and I hate it. Now, yes, to a degree, I feel that because for me, I look at it like I'd rather sleep comfortably and let the demon grab my leg and pull me out of bed than feel like I'm claustrophobic while laying down. Sorry. Hey, demon have at the leg, buddy, because I can't be under the covers like that. I just can't do it. Even if it's like really fucking cold, I have to have a leg sticking out. I just have to, because it gives me a sense of like I'm not stuck. You know, like I'm not stuck under these fucking covers. Everything's cool. You know, even though we all know the demon's going to grab your leg if you don't have your feet under the covers, because the covers are their biggest weakness. We all know this. We watched Paranormal Activity. He couldn't grab her leg because they were under the covers. But then when her leg was outside the covers, he could drag her out of bed. Oh my God. The longer I was saying that, the more it just made no sense. But, oh my God. If you watch Paranormal Activity 1, you know what I'm talking about. But that's what I mean, though. It's like, I have that irrational fear. I ain't going to lie to you. You know, and this episode has made me realize I have a lot more phobias than I thought I did. You know, maybe you have a little more phobias. Maybe you don't like milk touching you. Maybe you're afraid of fruit. Maybe you're like grandma and you don't like bananas. Maybe, you know, you're like that one girl and that my ex that you don't like balloons. Who knows? You may find out some irrational, unusual phobias that you didn't know you had today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you had a lot of fun. If you want to go ahead and get bite-sized pieces of the episode, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok on @AmITheAssholePodcast. If you want to get exclusive episodes and be able to write into the show, go ahead and follow us on Patreon @AmITheAssholePodcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.